Hi and welcome. Alright, so I gotta wait for my windshield to defog a little here. Oh, there we go. I can sort of see. Problem is this thing fogs up so quick. Alright, what a crazy... I think I'm just done picking songs to play. Sorry you can't see me very well, but it just is what it is. I'm gonna let this warm up a bit. But it's like, okay, tonight was just one of those knock it out of the park kind of nights of crazy talent. I don't know what to tell you. It's like I had to change my set list tonight 4 times of what I was going to play. 4 times because the night just, it was a very hyper night, which I liked, so I had a ballad semi, that I was going to play tonight, but I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't play a ballad now. These guys went all crazy rock and roll on me and stuff. Not that I mind at all. I mean, that was awesome. It was the most hyper night that I've been here. The guy before me, man, he was fantastic. Classic rock and roll stuff, you know. Can't go wrong with like all crowd pleaser stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? I got the band behind me. Good drummer tonight. Phenomenal bass player. Greg, the sound man / guitar player. Always good. There's a whole bunch of mushrooms behind that person's guitar. Anyway, but long story short, I mean, wow, what a night. I didn't play one song I rehearsed. I had to change it. I had to change it to crowd pleasers. I did okay. No sing-alongs per se, but, well, kind of. And it was a crazy night. Like, it was just I love it. I love the madness. But I can't pick songs anymore, so I'm talking to Greg. I'm like, guys, you made me change my set list like 4 times tonight. It's like, they did this, okay, that's a little more hyper. I can't just go up and play a mellow tune now, because, again, I'm expecting all these people to come up with, more mellow tunes. You just don't know what you're going to get out of jamming. That's what makes it so fascinating. So we had a drummer and a bass player jazz bass player tonight, playing 6-string bass. These guys are at a level that I'm not at. Well, mind you, they play together and stuff like that too, so they get that little extra that I don't, right? But all I gotta say is tonight was just an absolutely phenomenal, great, energetic, lovely. I just really enjoyed tonight. What I was hoping to pull off tonight was just totally, I picked songs that were so in the middle of the road that I could have went either way, taken the night out of the way. There was 3 hyper bands in a row pretty much, and then me. Intergalactic Space Hippie did show up again tonight. He was on there. We got him off the stage in under 20 minutes. It was pretty good. A lot of fun. A lot of funny, I really don't know what to tell you other than it's a little chilly today. It's not so bad now. It was just like one of those, wow, where did all this come from, Intergalactic Space Hippie. The only problem when he plays though is he clears the bar, I don't know, he's a nice guy. I mean, it's endearing, and I don't like to trash anybody that has the bravery to go up and play on stage, no matter how good or how bad they are. He's not really bad in the sense that he doesn't know what he's doing. He just doesn't sound good. It's not appealing music. He's way he reads things. So there's a song, he'll read it out that's how he sings. He's a hippie, right? So it's really, really funny. It's just really, really funny. I don't know what else to tell you, but he's also, he's not doing music that anybody really wants to hear, right? It's intergalactic space hippie stuff. It's the only thing I can really describe it as. But he, he went out there. He was having the time of his life again. That's good. I didn't bother filming him this time. It was just, you guys know it. You saw it the last time. It's like, oh, you guys know what you're gonna get. But tonight he was singing about some little shop that he has, and how you can buy stuff from him. It's like, it is comical, and it really is. Like, it's entertaining, and then just the bizarreness of it is that part's entertaining. But that said, the people that weren't bizarre, just phenomenal. Great playing, great singing. I only get little snippets of. I usually record the first song of each act. Because I only have so much GoPro battery time, so I don't get a lot in there. And so, like, some of the stuff that you guys missed out on, obviously, is just, it's stuff that is just really, really good, and the musicianship is just really tight. But it is a tough act to follow when you've got basically, in a nutshell, a jazz bass player, a really good drummer, an electric guitar. Greg is a phenomenal player. He's a blues player, but he's a phenomenal player. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying blues isn't good. No, he's very, very good. And the music is really good and whatever. But they were a lot more rock and rollish tonight, for sure. I think more like along the lines like Colin James kind of meets Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of hyperness. So really good, like really, really, really just nailing it. But with like a 50s kind of vibe, classic rock and roll, like crowd pleaser stuff. I think it was a Bo Diddley tune tonight or whatever. It's like, wow, it's great. The musicianship was just great. Then there's me. So I'm like, I get on stage, it's like, okay, well, the song I was going to play, I was like, no, that one's not hyper enough. I did Tweeter and the Monkey Man. Not that I really wanted to do those songs, and Copperhead Road and Hangman from Led Zeppelin, or versions of it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see how this goes over. There was some dancing, a little bit of a sing-along. Everybody enjoyed it. I can't say that I was like, I really wanted to play those songs tonight. I was really looking forward to playing those other songs, but they just wouldn't have fit, for the theme of the night. Like, the poor guy after me, I took it pretty hyper too. I mean, those are pretty hyper. When I say hyper, I mean like, rock and roll hyper, getting people up and dancing, singing along, hyper songs, you know what I mean? Like, they're not very melodic in the sense of, like, they're not power ballads, they're not easy listening, they're hyper, you know what I mean? I actually did something I didn't want to do, but I had the time to do it, so I got 4 in tonight. I did Pipeline again. It's like, I told Greg, I was like, the sound man, I said, he goes, man, you know a lot of songs. I mean, this guy's seen me 4 weeks or 5 weeks in a row, so he knows I don't play the same songs twice, except for tonight I played Pipeline twice, but I had to pull an instrumental out of my hat, and it was like, I was like, okay, well, I'll just do that and see what happens. But it was good. Like, tonight would have been a night to do the Meatloaf song, for sure. But I already did it, right? I already did it, so I got to watch what I play, But the poor guy behind me, like, his songs are mellow, you know what I mean? So I was like, it's not that, the guy's not going to be, the guy's going to be very good. Again, a finger picker, somebody walking down the road this late at night, that's pretty dangerous. It's pretty dangerous, especially the highway. But anyway, it's like, all the finger pickers tonight are like, like they're not going from rock and roll like that to full band, pretty much down to one-man guitar. That's really hard to fill in that sound. You know what I mean? It's like it's a one-man show, so you have to pick something that people are they're gonna dig it. So you usually can't go wrong with Led Zeppelin. You can't go wrong with Headstones. And you can't go wrong with, Steve Earle, right? Again, a little bit more hillbilly-ish. I thought I nailed it pretty good. Hopefully the sound was good. Hopefully my guitar wasn't overpowering my vocals too much. It did seem like it. I try to give a couple of signals to the audience to see if they'd sing along a little more, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It happened a little bit. But, it's like, okay, what do I do tonight? Like, it was completely unprepared, but again, that switching it up is kind of cool, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I didn't expect to do that. I I really never know what I'm going to play now. Like, it's like, if they're going to be doing stuff like that to me, where it's like, okay, tonight you want to play really hyper rock and roll songs, well, you're going to have some really mellow stuff right before you, and then it's like, okay, well, then you can't take it up too much or you lose the crowd. It's the same thing if you take it down too much from the previous act. Again, you lose the crowd. I was talking to the drummer tonight, and I said, now that's the hard part, is the follow-up, because it's not so bad when there's a couple of guys like them to follow up, because plain and simple, it's like, that's no problem, because with those guys, they're hyper, right? They're playing, you know, they're not playing death metal, but they're playing rock and roll. They got a band, they got a drummer in there. It's pretty lively. There's a lot of sound being filled into the room, and that gives them a lot of room to take it up or take it down. And that's what I was telling the drummer. I said, I'd love to have, you know, the next couple of weeks, I want to start pulling people up on stage, especially people that are at a different level than me. I'm a good musician. I know I'm a good musician. I can play. I know my job. But these guys, they're really tight, and I want that kind of tightness. It's not the style of music that pulls me in. It's the professionalism that pulls me in. I'm very sloppy. I know I'm sloppy. But like I was telling the drummer, I said in a couple of weeks I'll probably bring out my electric, and hey, if you're there, I'd love to pull you up on stage. And you know, I keep it simple. I do 4/4 time, so you don't have to worry about the compatibility of whether or not, you know, we'll be able to jam together. You know what I mean? And that's something that it was, you know, trying to keep when you're a one-man band and you have the whole night to yourself, you can take the night up, you can take the night down, and you can move the room around to whatever the crowd wants, right? But when the crowd, you know, the band before you, the crowd's yelling encore, stay on, it is a kind of intimidating, especially for newer players or people that don't perform live as much. They tend to get a little bit nervous because they get intimidated. They're like, how do I follow that act, right? I say just do what you're going to do. Just do it the best you can. It's a jam night. Don't take it personally if the people before you rock their faces off and you can't. Because you got to bring it to a different level. You got to kind of strategize how you're going to handle that. Great, fogging in. You got to strategize how you're going to do this so that you can keep the night going. So I'm like, well, obviously I'm not going to match the power of a bass player, an electric guitar, another guitar. If it was just the guy, you know, ahead of me, if it was just him playing the guitar, we would have been perfectly matched for the evening. So I'd just be keeping the mood going. But lots of compliments. And again, when people enjoy something, oh man, that was awesome. I had a lot of people compliment me tonight from shows I played, like last week, the week before. Some lady sat down, she said, you're really good. You know, I was like, oh, thanks. You know, just because people sit there quiet doesn't mean they're not enjoying themselves. But when they're up and screaming, hooting, hollering in front of you, that's always fun too. I had a bit of hooting and hollering, but I kind of took the night into a different direction where it's like, okay, well, I can't one up the full band. You're not going to do that. But what I did do was I got people, you know, kind of more, not necessarily headbanging, but kind of instead, I got a couple of ladies were up dancing. Dig for the Tweeter and Monkey Man song. They danced for that one. They danced a little bit for the Copperhead Road. But everybody's, you know, they're dialed into me. They're watching what I'm doing. They're into the show, you know. And yeah, I mean, tonight would have. Put it to you this way: if I didn't already play them live tonight, my super set would have been. Had I not played them earlier, Wanted Dead or Alive would have went over awesome tonight. I was going to do Mr. Roboto tonight, but I decided not to. I'm going to save that for a different night. It's like, I think I could have got away with it, but there wasn't enough people there for a sing-along. And I need that one to have a sing-along for it to really pull it off, or else it'll kind of fall flat on itself. The Meatloaf one, nobody needs to sing along with it, right? They can just sit there and not headbang, but, you know, rock out to it. So, yeah, tonight would have been, you know, like basically Mr. Roboto, Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, and Wanted Dead or Alive would have been a nice super set tonight. That would have kept people on such a high note. That would have been really good. It sounds like an odd combination, but no, it would have really worked tonight, considering the act I was following. The other thing is that, but what I did do was the songs I picked, and something I talked about a week or so ago, where like you don't pick too many lightning songs. You gotta have like, say, maybe like one really good song that you pull out. Now don't, holy jeez, that guy's like, where's he going in early? That guy's driving way too fast. Like I said, you pick 3 really good songs that can keep the mood going. Then you can do a showboat song. If you get too spectacular, too many songs in a row, you lose the crowd, because then it just becomes, oh well, this one was impressive, but this one, well, okay, well, it's no longer impressive because you're just repeating yourself, so to speak. If I make sense of what I'm talking about. So you need songs that kind of hold the mood, or increase the mood, or decrease the mood, whichever you want. Like I was going to do a ballad tonight, and I had a couple of doozies for ballads tonight, but I was just like, I was going to do one ballad tonight, and I was just like, which one do I do? After the third act, I'm like, there's no ballads tonight, friends. Not going to happen. Damn, fuck. Yeah, what a great night, though. What a very, yeah. The only thing is that the bar gets cleared out when Space Hippie shows up. I think he's coming back next week. It's just what I try to do is get myself away from him on the list as much as possible. I tend to get there before he did, so it's like as long as I'm not following that guy, because there'll be nobody left in the room, right? So, and I tend to like to perform for people. And again, it's not because I'm not being like a jerk or like that. It's just his songs are very amateurish, right? So you could say, well, Reg, your songs are pretty, 3-chord rock amateurish too. You're right. They are very simple songs that I played tonight. 3-chord rock, sure. There's no doubt about that. But his 3-chord rock is fine if you're competent in it. But when you're reading the piece of paper that you're singing, the song you're singing, that's like first time jam night type stuff. This guy, I think maybe he has I think he just smoked way too much weed in his life, and he's really, really slow. Maybe he has other mental issues. Maybe it's not just weed, but considering the tie-dye, considering that he's an intergalactic space. Nice guy and all, but it's just, you can tell he's like really, he's really mellow. Like every song is one pace. Every song he basically plays the same song 3 times in a row, reading a different piece of paper and changing the chords up ever so slightly. So that's what he does. So that loses the room. It's not nice, or it's not good, it's not bad. People walk outside, they go have a smoke break, or they go home. So then you're left with a bar that had 60 people in it, down to 25. You know what I mean? And that's a bit of a loss. That's a bit of a loss. But definitely the showstopper of the night was the guy just before me. Oh, he had everybody up and dancing. Really good stuff. But he had the whole band behind him. Big difference. If I had the band behind me tonight, it would have been pretty hardcore. With the dancing and stuff like that. You lose a lot when the drums and the bass go away, I tell you. Especially in a rhythm guitar or another lead guitar or whatever. So it's an unfair advantage that way. But again, you don't look at it, as in competition. You're not in competition with these people. You're there to have a good time. You're there but you also have to understand the realism of how do I follow up that act. Especially, and again, the guy behind me, I was probably pretty hyper for the stuff. Unfortunately, I had to leave before. I'm probably going to be a little bit late tonight, getting in a little bit late tonight, but sorry, a little perched here on some pretty windy roads, so I'm trying not to go and crash over the guardrail and end up in the Gatineau River there. That wouldn't be too fun for me. Yeah, so the point is that that lady Isabel, she was there tonight again. I asked her if she was going up. She wasn't sure. But she can crank them out pretty good too. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that woman belt out some high energy tunes, just to see what because she's got a great voice and everything like that. But she tends to be more of a mellow player. So when she was a host a couple of like a week or two ago, or the first night, I think she was the host the first night I was there. I think it was her, yeah. And you know, it's like. You know, she was a lot more low-key, so it was easy to follow that act, but it was tough not to be too hyper, to lose it, because again, you go too hyper too soon, you lose the crowd. With a band, it's a little different. With a band, you can move the room up and down very easily. What I mean by up and down is the mood of the room. You can get people really, you know, drinking and stomping their feet and dancing. And there was some combat dancing tonight that I've never seen before. It was this guy and girl. They're having a good time, that's for sure. I was like, when does it get dangerous? Like, they didn't take out any tables or anything, but I thought that was going to happen. But that's always a good sign of people having a good time. Maybe too good of a time. Maybe they're going to have a sore head tomorrow. But that's what you're there for. You know what I mean? That's part of the vibe. And two people can get the rest of the people jumping up there. Like, I mean, it was nice to see the dance floor movement tonight. It's hard to do that with a single act during the jam nights. Like, something I had mentioned in the previous video was that, yes, I did talk to I guess it's the owner or the whoever does the booking, but they said they weren't there tonight. I'm kind of happy they weren't, because I was a little half-cocked tonight in the sense of I didn't know what I was going to do. So maybe what I pulled out might be too heavy. But then again, I don't think there is too heavy there. I think what there is there. I think what there is there is play, you know, whatever. But the thing is like, if you have control of the entire night, the songs I played tonight are like second set stuff, or first set for me. So, give you an idea of what I'm talking about for the hyperness. I mean, Tweeter and the Monkey Man is like, that's like the second song in the first set or something like that sometimes. And if it's a really slow night, that'll be second set stuff. So by the time I get to, you know, the third set, it's getting pretty hyper, it's getting pretty rock and roll, it's getting pretty, I want people up and dancing. You know, I don't want to play more than 3 ballads a night at best. A good night, you don't play a single ballad, unless, you know, that's your forte, you know what I mean? But if you want people up and dancing, you know, do ballads. And I'll tell you one thing, ballads are hard. You know, it's hard to make your voice pretty. Gravel voice is easy for me, you know. There's a song I could have done tonight, but I don't know. I might not have been able to pull it off. But there maybe I could have done an acoustic version of "Sweet Child of Mine." That would have, the way I do it near the end. I think I could have pulled it off tonight, the same way I could have done Mr. Roboto tonight. It would have been hyper enough the way I do it. But I was like, no, I'll save that one. I was also, if the night would have been moving down just a little bit, or somewhere in the lukewarm area, I was going to pull out a Journey song. You know what I mean? That would have been really good tonight. Maybe that'll be next week. Well, so you're probably wondering, well, Rich, what songs were you going to do? Well, originally I was going to do Love and Affection from Nelson. I don't know if you remember that, with a capo. And then I was going to see which way the crowd went, and go with a ballad. It could have been a Bon Jovi ballad, Always. I was either going to do that one, maybe do Heaven from Bryan Adams, or the song from Kings of Leon, what's it called, somebody, no, yeah, Somebody, yeah, I think it's the name of it. I was going to do that one. Your Sex is on Fire, that song. That one I can't wait to do, but that's when I got the whole night to myself, because then you can pull it out. I don't know how that one, I try to keep the edgy lyrics to a minimum. Like last week I did, and the third song was going to be Take a Picture from Filter. Is it Filter? You my picture, I won't remember. That one. That's Filter, right? It's not a new song, but it's newish. You know, it's less than 20 years old, maybe. You know, good tune though. Yeah, I was gonna pull that one out there and do like a nice open D, drop D medley. Because I love throwing like one song. I like doing a bit of a medley in one song. Not all 3 songs, but one song. So if I can't do an instrumental, like I was really prepared to only play 3 songs tonight. And once again, I got 4. They like me. They really like me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was going to do that. And then if the night was going to go a different way, it was a little more hyper. Because I wasn't expecting the band tonight. But I did know the host, the bass player, was going to be a host. I had a hunch there was going to be a drums on the stage if there's a bass player there. Usually, very rarely, you just have like an acoustic and a bass player. Sometimes it happens. Very rarely ever see just a solo bass player with nobody else on there but the bass player. I've only seen that maybe twice in my life. Very unique. But the other one was I was going to do what are they called? Neon Trees. Either Animal or what was the other one? Everybody Talks. Yeah, that one would have went over really well tonight. But I don't know why I strayed away from that one. I thought, well, maybe it was just too new, and I might lose people. So I went with tried and true. Everybody knows Copperhead Road. Everybody knows Hangman. Everybody knows. What you call it, Tweeter and the Monkey Man. So I went with 3 crowd pleasers. Oh, jeez, I thought that was them. Saw 2 skid marks. Don't tell me there's a bear in the center. The last thing I want to do is smack into a bear. I just bought this thing. You know? They just gave me like 2 months with it before it gets destroyed. You know, reported SUV. Was just tire track mirages. Yeah, so I could have went that way. The other thing I could have done tonight was done Angel by Aerosmith. But I don't think it was the right night to do it. I could have done Lightning Crashes from live. I want to do that one live because I know that one goes over crazy well with usually crowds. But you have to have the right vibe to be able to pull that one off. Tonight I probably could have done it. How's this for a super hyper set? First song, start off Wanted Dead or Alive. Okay? Second song, Mr. Roboto or Bat Out of Hell from, these are acoustic versions of course, from Bat Out of Hell or Mr. Roboto. Third song, Freebird. Yeah, that acoustic version of Freebird. I think I do a pretty kick-ass. I've never not seen a crowd go nuts for that. You don't need a 6-member band to pull that one off live. Maybe next week if it's a hyper night, maybe I'll throw that one in there. Who knows? Who knows what you're gonna do? I shortened up Hangman a little bit tonight. I don't know if that was the right song tonight, but everybody liked it. You know, I did a little bit different. I do tend to do different, play it different when it's a jam. I tend to shorten things up just to be, you know, so I'm not hogging too much stage time, whatever. But it also allows me, usually when I shorten up the songs, it allows me to do 4 songs a lot of times. Again, it's still 15 minutes, right? So, you know, like Greg says, he goes, I don't mind so much because your songs are short, you know what I mean? And they're a lot shorter than what you think a lot of times when you record them. It's like, you skip out a whole bunch of parts, right? So I'll see how it went over tonight on the video. But it felt really good. Not as good as this darn fog. I'm not liking this fog thing. Yeah. Ooh, there's a skunk out there. See my way home. Wipers do not help. I'm gonna have to get some fog lights for this sucker. Fog's not as bad as what it can be. I know how bad the fog can get on this river thing. Well, I'm not that close to the river right now, but either way, it was a great night. I enjoyed it so much. The musicianship is so fantastic. You know, and the thing is that I'm the odd man out kind of slightly here, because I don't play what the other guys play. Like we had a jazz jam going on there tonight. So we got blues, R&B, jazz, rhythm and jazz, folk. Or I would say are the main staples there. And then you got rock guys like me, which is really cool too, because it just, and then what you get from the guys that are playing the blues and the jazz, like, oh wow, that's really cool. Like you're like Greg said, he goes, man, you know so many songs. Like it's like, I said, yeah, I probably know about 1,000 tunes, literally. You know, like I'd have to do a little bit of remembering to remember them all. But my goal is never to play the same songs twice, except for tonight at Goof Night. I was like, I'm going to do an instrumental, but I was like, oh, geez, what do I do? So I did Pipelining a second time. A song that would have been good if the crowd there would have been a slightly bigger crowd. Don't Stop Believin' Journey. I'm going to nail that one out of the park one day. That would have been a good night, good song to play tonight. But that would have got a sing. That's a sing-along. I want to do 3 songs that are sing-along songs, dance and sing. You know what I mean? But you can win either way. If it's a dancing and singing tune, it's a double win. If it's a dance or a singing tune, it's a win. Yeah, it can go so many different ways. So what do you do, right? Like, do you do your ballads? Do you do your, you know, how do you read the crowd? How do you go about it? Well, the way I do it is in a jam that I do the following up act. What did they do? How much, you know, like I go 1 gear above or 1 gear below or the same. So if the band ahead of me was a little bit more hyper, I went 1 gear below them to keep the vibe going, but not so hyper that I can't match them. You know what I mean? Because again, you're not gonna have the same intensity as a full band, 4-piece, 5-piece, whatever it would be, you know, or more or less. But what you can do, like I say, you can go 1 up and 1 down and keep the room in the same mode, you know what I mean? In the same mood, so to speak. You can go either way. Last week I think I took it down a notch. No, I took it up a notch. So this week I took it down a notch, believe it or not. Just so that it would level out the room a bit for me. You know, it's like, okay, these are still songs that are hard enough driving, and they're danceable, they're singable, they're whatever. They're enjoyable enough that everybody's in the mood to keep it going. Where it's not too much of a drop in tempo, it's not too much of an increase in tempo. But like I say, to one up the band, I can't increase the tempo from there because I'll lose it. Like I'll lose the plot. It'll be too much without the backup. You know what I mean? So it comes with the experience of playing for people. You will find that you learn how to read a crowd a bit. It does take a little bit of practice to do that. Tonight, I think I was pretty good on the mic tonight. So I had the microphone right where I needed it tonight, where usually I find that if you're not comfortable, this is something, guys, be as comfortable as you can. I think my tempo was okay. It might have been a little bit fast, it usually is, but for those songs, you're okay if they're a little bit faster. You know, you're okay if they're a little bit faster. I didn't try to get too fancy, because again, you're not going to one-up, the band, so I did a couple like little rhythmic runs and chimey stuff, just to kind of drag the songs out, even though they're short, but drag out the end of the song into another song, that kind of stuff, blend overs as I call them. Yeah, I did that. I think pretty seamlessly, going from Tweeter and the Monkey Man to Copperhead Road. I think I made that a nice transition. So it kept the mode going. It kept the mood going. It did drop. There was no holes, no spaces. nothing dropping out of the sound. You know what I mean? So that's good. That's kind of what you want in a lot of ways. I think I really called a good, not too fancy tonight. I don't know how those other songs would have went over tonight, to be honest with you. The original songs that I picked, I think it would have taken the room down too much. I think it would have been too mellow, except for maybe the first song. You know, yeah, it's kind of weird, like how you got to go from. You know, I took it more in the hillbilly direction. I'll just say that. You know, you can hear me tell my joke about my little town. You know, a few people, 4 last names. You know, whatever. Yeah, but everybody enjoys it. You know, like everybody really enjoys it. I'm starting to get to know some of the locals and stuff like that. So, you know, it's like the good job, Reg stuff is, you know, as I walk off stage is good. But I just like talking to the new faces. You know what I mean? It's really cool. And it's really nice to listen to people that do something different than you. But yes, I'm going to have to capture that evening one night for myself. Now, the nice thing when you have a show yourself, which hopefully comes out in the next few, well, it could be probably November. I think they're pretty booked up for the next few months. But if I can get a paying show there, that'd be great. Again, I'm not looking to get rich. It'd be nice if it pays for the night and some. You know, by paying for the night, pay for my gas there and back and a you know, a little bit of a meal. But it would be really nice if I could have the whole night to myself, because I know by the end of the night, that crowd is going to be going ape shit. I'll be able to control 3 sets and give people something really, really cool. You know, and a really good night. And I know that's going to work really well for me. Because one-man band stuff is interesting. Because you can, like I say, you could take the night up or down any way you want when you don't have to worry about, you know, what the, you know, the person before you or after is going to be playing, right? Now, like I say, you never really worry about the person after. It's the act you got to follow that you should really concentrate on, because the act you follow sets your tone. You know what I mean? So if these guys are really hyper, well, then you're probably going to have to kick it up a notch. This is where the dilemma, the jam night originals come in, where when people are playing all originals, what happens to them is that if the originals they could be phenomenal originals, but they might not be the right tempo for being played, right? So the guy behind me, like, you could tell he was really nervous. And I don't think it's because he's never played live before, but it's, I remember Chris Isaac, you know, the I wanna fall in love with you. That song has got that, what was the name of the model? Helena something, some Eastern European model, drop dead gorgeous, you know, from the 90s. Great song, phenomenal song. But he had to follow up Metallica, you know, at a music awards, and he's just like, he goes, you know, here's Metallica, everybody's going completely ape shit off the walls with Metallica, and here he is playing, you know, really soulful, well, not soulful, well, I guess you could say soulful, really melodic stuff. And he's like, wow, you know, I got to step up my game. He's, you know, that I remember he was so blown. He says, I just couldn't believe how Metallica held the crowd. And he goes, I don't listen to Metallica. You know what I mean? It's like, he was just so impressed because it's something different. You know, you'll appreciate music that is different from what you do. Whether it's better or not, it's not really the issue that it's something new. And you got to learn to be able to accept that at jam nights too. That, you know, the room is going to move up and down on you. You know, people are going to walk away if the guy before you really kind of takes them on an intergalactic space hippie trip or whatever. God love the guy. Can't remember what his name is there, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. You know, to win the room back, that could be very tough to do. I have no problem keeping the audience. That's one thing I'm lucky, that I usually get off pretty good. The only time I think I lost the audience a bit was with the Meatloaf tune. Not because I didn't play it well. Like one guy's like, man, I really enjoyed that. I said, yeah, but it was a little bit too heavy for the crowd at that time. It was about an hour and a half too early in the night, and 5 drinks too early for most people. Like I was talking to, I've seen him there a few times. I got there and I can't remember the guy. The guy's from LA, I think, or Texas. I can't remember where he said he was from. But I was talking to him last week, and he's like, yeah,